Everyone, great to connect with you again today. Sunday morning, we gather for worship outdoors at 8:30, indoor streaming at 11. Please note the time change from 10 o'clock, as we've been meeting all summer, to now 11 o'clock. And we'll continue this worship schedule on into December. This Sunday, I start a series of sermons about a variety of people we meet in the scriptures. And this Sunday, I'm focusing our attention on Leah in Genesis 29. The sermon is titled, When You Feel Unloved. In addition, the Houghton University Choir will be singing in the 11 o'clock service, and we will be serving Holy Communion in both services. This coming Monday is Labor Day. This holiday, which is a celebration of the American worker, was established in the late 19th century when labor activists pushed for a federal holiday to recognize the many contributions workers have made to America's strength and prosperity and well-being. This grassroots movement became a national holiday in 1894. Thinking about this holiday, I was reminded that work is a gift from God. I used to think that work was the result of Adam and Eve's sin, that it was part of the curse. But God doesn't say, because of your sin, now you have to work. He says, because of your sin, now your work will be a struggle. And it has been ever since. But the reality is that work is a gift of creation, because it gives us an opportunity to create and produce. God admonishes our first parents to be fruitful and multiply. This isn't just about having children. It's also about caring for his wondrous creation. It's about making the world a better place. It's about enhancing his creation. They're given the privilege of nurturing creation in a way that it produces and it flourishes. There's something profoundly satisfying about seeing the fruits of our labors. That's one reason why I love our garden. You prepare the soil, you plant seeds, you water, and after a while, you harvest. It's very satisfying. And hopefully, this is true of whatever work or activity we do. But I realize that isn't always the case. We tend to think of work negatively because it can be a huge struggle. We experience, whatever our work, what God says to Adam, now it's going to drain you and worry you and oppress you. And why does work do this? Well, maybe for a couple of reasons. One, because we allow work to define who we are. We tend to connect our value and worth to what we do, what we produce, how successful we are about what we do. It's this mindset that creates the problem of what we call a workaholic. When our value and worth is defined by our work, and whatever that work takes, whatever form that work takes, we feel pressure to do more, to accomplish more, to do it better, to impress people, and we get into this vicious cycle that we find almost impossible to stop. But we can also go to the other extreme and sort of live in rejection of work. Because of our unhealthy experience with work, we can become apathetic about it, maybe even lazy. We can become disinterested in making the world a better place. We can become disillusioned about what we could do to have any bearing on anyone or anyone else, anything else. In an act of rebellion against work defining us, we decide to run from it as fast and as quickly as possible. But what we fail to realize is that even when we do that, work is still driving us, just in a different direction. The answer is not being obsessed by work, and the answer is not abandoning work. The answer is in realizing that our value and worth is in God alone. When our first parents trusted God, their work was a joy and a blessing. It's a way of worshiping God who gives them this gift. Actually, God's answer to our struggle with work is built into creation. God's answer is Sabbath. God sets up the importance of Sabbath in creation. God doesn't need to rest. He's not worn out. He rests because it's the nature of his kingdom. Maybe that's why the writer of Hebrews talks about an eternal rest. Sabbath provides us with an opportunity to declare that our work doesn't define us. God's love for us does. Sabbath provides us with an opportunity to declare that God is not an unpleasable taskmaster. He's a loving Father whose primary concern for us is not what we produce, but who we are. Work and Sabbath are going to look different for all of us. Unfortunately, God's people haven't always understood that. God's people through the ages have forgotten the words of Jesus. The Sabbath was made for you, not you for the Sabbath. It's going to look different for you than for me. But the common idea is this: finding time to stop working so that we might more readily and clearly hear from God that we are his beloved children. It's an opportunity to learn, to listen, to play, to relate, to rest. So my prayer for you and for me is that our eyes will be open to the importance of Sabbath so that we might experience more and more of God's design for us as his beloved children. And in so doing, we might find joy and grace in whatever we do, to the glory of God as his agents of grace. Father, thank you for the gift of being able to produce and flourish and to do this in the wide variety of ways in which you have enabled us. Give us courage to engage in your gift of Sabbath, and give us grace to remember who we are in you. Amen. Thanks again for joining me. Have a wonderful day.